I mean, the other thing you could do is you could go to the Olympics, show up thinking you're about to win for another one of these countries, and then you get put into a situation that Angela Carini of Italy found herself in.
Oh Lord, this is all
Boy,
over.
there's
All over
all
the internet.
kinds of dust ups and flare ups over Angela Carini taking on uh I guess her name is Imane Khelif from Algeria. They I watched this fight because I heard about it after the fact and I said I gotta find this. It lasted less than a minute. It was like 45 seconds. And they start out, Karini's like throwing the jab. She's a southpaw, so she's throwing the jab, jab, jab. And Khalif just
overhand right.
Boy, just bust her upside her face. Now they got the headgear on. And this was the first time I ever seen somebody just stop in the middle of the fight, call like a timeout. She walks, Angela Carini of Italy, walks over to her coach, and the coach like tightens up the headgear, and they get back. The referee's like, okay, we'll give him time. He brings them together. They start going jab, jab. Khalif comes back again, just right in the jaw. She stops again, and then now she's yelling at her coach. And so the coach is like waving it off. The referee waves it off. And then they announce the decision as Imane Khelif wins by abandonment. Now, I've never heard that in my life.
No.
Somebody won by abandonment. And so they do the decision. The referee's got him. He holds up Khalif's hands. Carini will not look at her, will not address her. They make the decision. She goes to the middle of the ring, drops to her knees. She starts crying. She gets up when she's going to look to walk, I guess, to a corner. The camera's on her. She stops crying immediately. And she turns and she like walks out of the ring, will not address Imane Khelif. And after this fight is when all the controversy kind of hit. Because people are saying, how can you let what appears to be a transgender man who's trying to be a woman, pass himself off as a woman, how can you let a man fight a woman in the Olympics? Like, of all places for this to take place, the Olympics. How can that be allowed? How is that acceptable? And then it turns into a whole breakdown, discussion, debate about how this woman is a transgender, how she's not a transgender, how she's been disqualified in the past because she didn't pass the what do they call it? The sex test, which is like when they check you to see what kind of whether you're a man or a woman. So my understanding is she has an extra chromosome in her body that basically creates additional testosterone, which makes it look like she has male genes, like she's a male, but her birth certificate clearly identifies that she is a woman. She has her cycle. She has female genitalia. She's a woman. But I mean, I'm not trying to talk down about her, but like if you look at her face and her build, she does have a masculine frame. But ultimately, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck,
it's a duck.
It's a duck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not a dick, but a duck.
Yeah.
So when I know when you initially sent me this story, the initial outrage was like, damn, they let this dude really beat up this chick in the Olympics. And then I did some like investigating to see like what the hell was going on. And it turns out that, it's just everybody jumps on the first big headline. What did you think about this when you saw it initially, and then after we kind of had our discussion? What are your thoughts on it now?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to say that I jumped on the first headline that I saw because, of course, like anything else, now we get to see the side of social media, what social media has the power of doing, how everything can be presented and be misled in a certain way, in a certain light. So, for me, of course, when it comes across my feed and I start getting all this, and I was sending it to you guys in the chat, I was like, bro, this is something we definitely need to talk about on the podcast. And the whole premise behind it was because it gave off that you get a lot of that muddled information saying that one, it's a man, and then a different one says no, it was a trans woman or person, or however you want to say it, and that ended up beating this lady, Carini from Italy. And of course, you see all the images, you see the video, you see the playback, you see the replays, you see everything, and everything gets posterized so quickly. And then you have people like Oscar De La Hoya also jumping on that bandwagon. Eddie Hearn.
Jake Paul offered Angela Carini a fight in one of his undercards.
Yeah,
he's like, it's gonna make it right. You said De La Hoya, Israel Adesanya came out, Ryan Garcia came out.
Yep.
Everybody's kind of jumping on the wagon of how can you let
it kind of
woman.
Yeah, it just shows you the power of social media, of how quickly a story can develop and change, and to always show the worst light. It's not going to put the light on the best portion of it, or the actual facts, as opposed to we've come up with this premise, or this story. Let's run with it. Let's get it out there, and let's make this big. And it turned into something huge, because obviously, like I said, I mean, it came across my feed almost all week. Like, man, check out this dude that beat the hell out of this chick in the Olympics. And of course, at first light, like you said, when you see images of her, not talking down on her or anything, but when you see images of her, yes, it looks like a dude. So I'm gonna automatically assume that they let some dude jump in the ring with this girl and beat the dog hell out of her.
Breaks off over.
Bro, it was.
You know what's funny is I heard on one of these videos that I saw that, and I hope I'm not messing this up, because it was just one thing that I saw, but it was something like, I think it's considered a crime to be like that in Algeria. Like, you can't be a man and then transition into a woman. That's illegal. Like, they don't like that's a crime to
they don't allow it
to do that. And so if it's illegal in that country, you think they're going to send somebody as a representative to the Olympics like that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like you said, social media, one person just drops a little something in the fish tank, and all the piranhas are like, nah.
Oh, real quick.
We hopping on it, bro. I was like, oh, we definitely talking about that. And then I did the research. I was like, ooh, it's the other way around, fellas. Like, we're just being so judgmental for no reason. That's not even what it is.
Yeah. And again, I think the other thing too, the rarity of the call from the ref to call it abandonment. Typically, whenever something like that happens, it's a technical knockout. Basically, it's counted as that. So for them to count it as an abandonment, I don't know how that affects the record, how it affects her win to loss ratio for what she needs to win a medal, if she wins a medal. Because again, we haven't gotten that far off into it yet.
Right.
So there's still a lot of Olympics to go to see who's going to come out on top. But if she does end up winning, how does that affect,
the spotlight's all over. For anybody that doesn't do any research and they just go off the initial premise of, this dude's fighting chicks in the Olympics, you're going to have a field day with it. If you take a step back from being judgmental and you really do some research, then it turns into, okay, like, let's really put a perspective, an accurate perspective on this situation, and be realistic about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Now I do think I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like Angela Carini was horrible in the way she handled it. Like she did not have
Any
any
sportsmanship?
sportsmanship.
Yep.
She embarrassed this woman on a national stage, and she came out and she was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I handled it poorly. I want to apologize to her. I was just mad because my Olympic dreams were basically up in smoke at that point, which is fine. I mean, that's understandable, but like, look at the spotlight you put on this woman with your actions,
Yeah.
and now this woman has to carry that going into the next round of the into the next round of the Olympics. Like everybody kind of look at this dude trying to play off as a girl so he can have an unfair advantage and beat up on these women. What kind of experience, just like we talked about, you wait 4 years to try to make it into the Olympics. What kind of experience is that? You worked your butt off and you get there and everybody's talking bad on you for being successful,
Exactly.
and you can't even enjoy
Exactly.
your moment because it's like it's tarnished.
Yeah. All because of hearsay, basically. So,
Big old game of telephone.
man, so I mean, it's very unfortunate for her to have that kind of limelight on her now. But it
Mm,
does, on the plus side, it does give exposure to who she is and where she comes from and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's a very unfortunate, and the circumstances were bad in the way that it was presented. I think that everybody was real quick to jump on that boat, on that bandwagon real fast, to be like, oh yeah, she's the bad guy, or he's the bad guy, is the way that they were putting it at that point.
Angela
Um,
Carini's a victim.
yeah, and it it's sad to see that it could tarnish her career moving forward because of something like this. So, I mean, congratulations to her is all I can say at this point, and we'll see how far she gets in the Olympics.
Right. Well, best of luck to all the remaining competitors.
Yes, best
Uh,
of luck to everybody.
and that's not just in boxing, but that's all the Olympians, like everybody that's still out there waiting to compete, that has already competed but is moving on to the next round. Whatever. Good luck to you guys. We wish you all the best, and go USA.